Title: Voices in Stone, The Enigma of Easter Island's Giants. Over 2,000 miles from the nearest continental coast, Rapa Nui, better known as Easter Island, sits in solitude among the vastness of the southeastern Pacific Ocean. It is one of the most remote inhabited islands in the world. Yet it has become synonymous with one of humanity's most perplexing mysteries: the Moai, towering stone giants carved from volcanic rock, silently staring across the land as if in mourning, or in watchful vigil. Who carved them, and why? The answers lie buried in stone, myth, and memory. The first Polynesian settlers arrived around the 12th century, navigating thousands of miles with only the stars, the sea, and the birds as guides. They brought with them oral traditions, agriculture, and an unshakable reverence for their ancestors. These people began carving the Moai, monolithic statues that stood as much as 33 feet tall and weighed over 80 tons. Made from the soft, tuff-like volcanic rock of Rano Raraku crater, the Moai were chiseled using basalt hand tools. Each Moai, it is believed, represents a revered ancestor, deified and transformed into a protector of the community. They faced inward, toward the villages, never toward the sea. The people of Rapa Nui believed the statues held mana, a spiritual force that could bless and protect the land if properly honored. The carving of the Moai was not a solitary effort. It required coordinated labor: stoneworkers, engineers, spiritual leaders, and food providers. It was a feat of engineering, yes, but also a sacred ritual. Families and clans may have competed to build the most majestic Moai, further intertwining status, spiritual devotion, and social cohesion. At the height of their society, the Rapa Nui carved and erected nearly 900 Moai. Transporting these giants across rough terrain, often miles from the quarry, was no small feat. Theories abound: rolling them on logs, dragging them on sledges, or even walking them upright with ropes in a shuffling motion. According to Rapa Nui tradition, the statues walked with mana. While that may sound mythical, modern experiments have shown that teams of people using ropes could, in fact, sway and walk the statues forward. The blend of ingenuity and spiritual belief was profound. The path from quarry to ahu, ceremonial platform, was itself sanctified. As each statue passed through the land, it brought blessings, anchoring the sacred in the soil. Those involved in the transport may have undergone purification rites, and chants would have accompanied the movement of each colossus. The Moai, then, were not just stone. They were vessels of the dead, moving among the living before being permanently fixed to gaze over their kin. By the 17th century, the golden age of Moai carving had ended. Many statues were toppled, some during tribal wars, others by earthquakes or colonial interference. The reasons for the societal collapse are debated: deforestation, overpopulation, warfare, European diseases, or a combination of all. The popular ecocide theory suggests that the islanders deforested the land to move the Moai, leading to agricultural collapse, but this has been increasingly questioned. Recent archaeological evidence points to more complex dynamics: sustainable practices, shifting climate patterns, and the resilience of Rapa Nui society long after the Moai stopped rising. Still, the image of a people driven to ruin by their reverence for stone persists, a cautionary tale of ambition. Some researchers point to the introduction of rats, which may have devastated the island's palm trees by eating seeds. Others emphasize the effects of slave raids in the 19th century and the eventual annexation by Chile, which led to cultural and physical dispossession. Even during decline, the Rapa Nui people adapted. They constructed smaller statues, turned to other spiritual practices, and passed down their oral traditions, ensuring cultural continuity even amid disruption. Modern Rapa Nui descendants see the statues not as symbols of collapse, but of survival. To them, the Moai remain sacred. They are the physical manifestation of connection between past and present, the living and the dead, the earth and the sky. Their expressions, so stoic and heavy-lidded, hold the legacy of an entire worldview. Some archaeologists now argue that the very act of carving and erecting the Moai was what bound society together, a shared purpose that structured life, belief, and community. And when that purpose frayed, so too did the society. The Moai were not ends in themselves, but part of a spiritual economic system. The Ahu platforms became centers for offerings, ceremonies, and diplomacy. The stone itself may have been believed to channel ancestral power, focusing it across land and sea. No written records survive from the era of Moai construction. The Rongorongo script, a glyph-based writing system discovered on wooden tablets, remains undeciphered to this day. Without this key, much of Rapa Nui's deeper history is lost to speculation. Yet that very mystery is part of the magic. Theories swirl. Did the Moai represent political unification or factional rivalry? Was their sudden cessation due to spiritual transformation or outside catastrophe? What was the nature of the elite class who commissioned these statues? Priests, kings, or communal leaders? The landscape offers clues. Moai left half-carved in the quarries suggest an abrupt halt. Some lie face down on ancient roads, broken or abandoned. The island speaks, but in riddles. Today, scientists use satellite imagery and digital modeling to study the Moai. Environmentalists collaborate with locals to preserve both land and heritage. And every year the island draws thousands seeking to stand in the silent presence of these enigmatic sentinels. The Moai do not answer, but they endure. Rapa Nui is no lost world. It is alive, adapting, and reclaiming its story. Local communities continue to speak the Rapa Nui language, pass down traditions, and guard the cultural significance of their ancestors' work. In recent years, several Moai have been ceremonially restored to their original platforms, called Ahu. These restorations are not merely archaeological projects, they are acts of cultural revival. Younger generations are learning the history of their people, not from textbooks, but from elders, songs, and ceremonies. They perform dances that honor the oceanic journeys of their forebears and tell stories that animate the stone faces that still watch over their fields. Tourism, too, is undergoing a transformation. More than sightseeing, it's become a dialogue between guests and hosts, past and present. Visitors are encouraged to see not only the majesty of the Moai, but also the resilience of those who carved them, and those who live in their shadow still. To ask who carved the Moai is to ask what it means to remember. To ask why is to confront the powerful force of ancestral devotion. The answer, perhaps, is not in the stones themselves, but in the people who still honor them. This original narrative explores the mystery and cultural depth of Easter Island's Moai, blending historical research with interpretive storytelling to reflect both indigenous voices and scientific insight.